Hey guys, Bree here from Shawl Crochet, and it's only 37 days until the first day of fall. So if there's any last minute projects you're wanting to make to rock some fall fashion, this is your time. Today I thought I'd share with you some of my favorites that I've made over the past few years and maybe inspire you to make your own. Stay tuned. Alright guys, before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that some of these patterns are paid and some are free. So I'm going to have everything linked down in the description so that you can just click and go right to them. Some are on YouTube, some are on blogs, some will be linked to Ravelry. So whatever your preference is, it might be there. Alright guys, so the first one we're going to start with in no particular order is going to be the Creekside Ruana. This is a paid pattern, totally worth every penny. I think that this is such a beautiful piece. I wore it for the first time last fall when I went on a riverboat cruise down the Mississippi, and there were so many people who came up to me and were like, this is beautiful, it has so much texture, what does it feel like, can I touch it? And that just kind of blew me away. And you know, here we are in a pandemic and people want to get within 6 feet and they want to be touching my clothing. That kind of took me back. I was so proud of this piece though, and I was definitely ready to show it off. It is definitely a showstopper. It's beautiful. This is the color I chose just because it's a super duper fall color, and I just found it beautiful. So the best thing about this too is it has nice deep pockets. I have kind of a larger cell phone and I could easily fit my cell phone in there. Plus I could throw a couple other, just random things in there. It is so warm, so cozy. You can just slip your hands into the pockets if you get a little cold, and it goes well with so many things. I wore it with leggings and just threw it over a decent looking shirt, and away I went. I love this. Now, one thing I also wanted to do, just because it's such a showstopper, and it might put it a little bit over the top for some people, but I made this turban to go with it. I've always kind of been interested in a turban look. I just like the 1920s, like the roaring 20s, kind of like we're in the roaring 20s now, but a better roaring 20s, I'm sure, because who wants to be in a pandemic? Anyways though, I love the turban, and I never made one, and I was surprised at how simple it actually was. So I found a YouTube video and I just kind of went at it. I love the way these go together. One of my favorite things too about the turban is the pin that's on top, because I bought the pin at Hobby Lobby and then I took like the metal part off the back and then I put magnets on it, so this way it doesn't tear up my yarn at all and I can easily move it from one piece to another. But I'll have to make a video on that on a different day. This is the piece that started my love of mystery crochet alongs. I had loved anything Marley Bird touched. Alright, so this is the 2019 Turkey Trot. I had never done a mystery crochet along before, and I was kind of new still to crochet at that time. I was very nervous to even think about trying this. And the idea of like letting somebody else have full control over what I was making and not knowing what I was making, the control freak in me was crying. But I decided, I'm going to just give it a try. I'm going to face my fears. So I went in this very reluctantly, especially because when I saw the yarn, I was like, this is something I would never choose to work with. It was fuzzy and kind of hard to see, and I was just like, not for me. But I thought, I'm going to push through. I'm going to give it a try and see what happens. And I was pleasantly surprised because this piece came out so beautiful. It worked up beautifully, and I loved like the softness of it. This piece for me was like kind of a pivotal moment where it made me want to be more adventurous. It helped build self-confidence for me, and it helped me kind of let go of control a little bit. It's kind of hard to believe that I crochet that much, but the Turkey Trot is such a cool event. Like, I highly recommend it to anybody who crochets or knits because they have both versions. I totally am in love with doing this. I haven't missed one since 2019. The Turkey Trot is very cool because it takes place over Thanksgiving weekend, and you only get a portion of the pattern like each day. And so like after a while you kind of figure out what you're making, but you're still not 100% sure because Marley might throw a couple of curveballs in there. You never know. But there's videos, there's a lot of community support on Facebook, and it's so much fun. It's a great way to connect with other people. And when I finished this project and I realized that I had accomplished something so big and I didn't really know what I was doing at the time, it was such a confidence booster for me. So I totally recommend the turkey trot. If you want to give it a try, go for it. I'm telling you, so much fun. If you were in the crochet world in 2020, then you know it was the year of the pocket shawl. I really wanted to make one, but everyone I found, I was like, well, everybody's making like the exact same thing with very, little variations, and I didn't want the same thing everybody else had. I love following trends and stuff, but I want to make things my own. And when the turkey trot came up in 2020 and Marley kind of hinted at it could be a very popular piece, I was like, let's hope it's the pocket shawl, because that would be so cool. So once again, turkey trot, I was all about it. I love that event. So excited for this one, definitely. And I love that it has deep pockets. And they're kind of hidden pockets. When people walk up to you and they see it, they don't necessarily know they're pockets. They're just very cleverly hidden, and which is such a nice, cute little surprise when you're showing it off. Also, after I got it done, then I realized there was a matching hat out there. The toasted marshmallow hat is very cute, and it's made a little bit on the slouchy side, which I kind of like. I don't want anything that's too tight and really weighing down my curls, so I was all about that. Also, I left a hole in the top so that it could be a messy bun hat, because that's definitely my style. I love a good messy bun. So if you're interested in this pocket shawl, it's a paid pattern, but you could also go ahead and look at the original version. Now this is a free pattern on Marley's blog, but it's broken up a little bit because it was done over the turkey trot, which was done, over multiple days. If you want all the pattern in one spot, which I highly recommend, I buy the turkey trot pattern every year. You can go on Ravelry and get the paid version of the pattern, so you have all the information in one spot. The hat is also a separate paid pattern, but it has similar stitches, so it's kind of nice because they match, and it's worth buying both. Oh, the Tradewind shawl. This is by Tamara Kelly at Moogly blog, and I love this shawl. It is great if you have a small frame or a large frame, tall, short. I think it's great with any body type. I have looked at so many shawls, and they're usually like for petite, delicate women, which I will never be. At 6 foot tall, I'm never going to be petite. So when I saw this and I saw just all the ways that you could style it, I was blown away. I love this. You can make it in any colors you want. I chose different colors than Tamara did. There's so many different color combinations that you could come up with. I did mine in gray with these kind of more like subtle colors. There are so many different color combinations and ways that you can make this really your own. I think this pattern is beautiful. It worked out quickly. It was easy to follow. There is a written version on Tamara's blog, and there is a YouTube video. So depending on which kind of crocheter you are, if you're more of a visual person or you like to be able to read more, this pattern could be done either way. I think it's a beautiful piece, and it's nice too that Tamara has a video out there that shows you all sorts of different ways to style shawls, including this one. I'm going to definitely link that down in the description too, because it's one of my favorite videos, and when I feel kind of stuck or like I'm in a rut, like I'm wearing something the same way, I like to go on that video and get some inspiration. So definitely, even if you're not going to make this shawl, check out that video that Tamara has that shows different ways to style different kinds of shawls, because it's very inspiring. I don't know about you, but I've become addicted to TikTok like a lot of other people. And when I saw this hooded scarf going around TikTok, I was like, man, the possibilities are endless for this. The first one I made, I just used a self-striping yarn just to kind of see how it would work up. Then the one you see here is the second one I made. With a little bit of math, I figured out how to have all 13 stripes from the United States flag and all 50 stars represented on the hood. There are just endless color combinations to represent all sorts of different kinds of groups and people by just changing up the colors a little bit. With a little bit of simple math, you can really, really personalize this to make it anything you want it to be. I like it because it goes great under a jacket or your coat. And if you live in somewhere like the Midwest where sometimes the wind is just a whipping and you don't want to get all up under your neck, you don't want it all over your face and your head, you can just pull that hood right over your head and get a little bit of a break from the wind. I think this is a beautiful piece. I think this is something that everybody should have in their patterns. This is a paid pattern that you can find on Etsy or on Andrea's website. I bought it through Etsy, but you can do it either way. I'll leave a link to Andrea's website in the description. All right, guys, that'll do it for today. So I will have all those patterns linked down in the description, paid or free. They will all be in there. And if you decide to make any of them, I would love to hear about it. So if you want to hit me up in the comments, let me know if you're going to make any of these things or if you're making something different for yourself for fall. I would love to be inspired by you. Hopefully I inspired you and you can inspire me. All right, take care.